Hi, this is Sydney Pickrem.
I'm Duncan Scott.
Hey, this is Freya Anderson.
I'm Kyle Chalmers.
I am Kira Toussaint, and this is the London Roar podcast.
A nail-biting finish saw the Roar just pipped by the LA Current in the first of their ISL playoff matches. This is Steve from Pullbuoy welcoming you back to the London Roar podcast, where we'll delve into that match and meet the latest swimmer to join the team. Lots to talk about, so let's cross to Eindhoven and get into it. So over in Eindhoven, I'm joined by Kira Toussaint and Sydney Pickrem, who've been racing with the Roar this last weekend. Kira, is it good to be back together with the Roar team after having had the season break?
Yes, it's so nice. I did a lot of racing in between the first and the playoffs. The regular season and the playoffs, and it's so nice to be back with the group and training together and racing together again. I'm happy with that.
And Sydney, for you as well, good to be back in the green and gold of the Roar.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when we all kind of came together in Naples, it was the first time we all, I feel like, were around a big group of people in general. I think just with how the year and a half went with COVID for everyone around the world. And so it was nice to have a little bit of training back home, but was still getting ready to come back over to Europe and was excited to see the whole team.
How is the kind of atmosphere in Eindhoven compared to Naples? I mean, we spoke to Rob Woodhouse at the start of the season, and he thought that Naples would be a chance for all of you to kind of, decompress a little bit after the Olympics, and have a bit of fun and catch up with people. Is it still like that, or is it a bit more, business-like, if you see what I mean? Now you've got to the important part of the season.
Well, I think it's a little bit different here now because mostly because the Netherlands is in a partial lockdown right now. So there's not that many things that you could do outside of training and being in the hotel. I mean, you can still go out for lunch and stuff, but it's a bit restricted. So that automatically makes that people cannot go out of the hotel because there's nothing to do. And I think it's really nice that we're playing a lot more games here together with the team. And I really like that. So Sydney knows I really like that. So it's, I think it's a bit different. I think we're all training a bit more and a bit more serious, because Naples did really feel like a sort of a swimming vacation. And right now it feels more like it's more a serious business. Yes.
And you've obviously had your first match at the weekend just gone. Sydney, if we look at that match, it was very close, but it just wasn't to be for the win. What was the feeling like in the team afterwards?
I think honestly, we put up a good fight and we all knew that. There was no necessarily disappointment from anyone. I think a lot of people had great swims and but I think we were all kind of walked away from it a little angry. None of us like to lose, we're all competitive in our own individual races, but as a team, we have a lot of competitive people. And so with that nature, we kind of took that I think a bit to heart, and that we want to come back and just be stronger every time that we're racing. And so I think we were proud of the swims that we did, but we know how much more we have to give. And I think we're excited to go into this next match and get that chance to kind of come back from the second place in the first match.
I mean, it was really, really close. It was a couple of hundredths here and there, and it went all the way to the last round of the skins. Kira, does that make it kind of harder to take coming second, rather than first?
Well, you've seen the last round of the women's skins, right? We were all watching in the stands, and we all thought that Alia touched first, and we looked at the scoreboard and we were already cheering. So that was like, what? How did that happen? We're all competitive, and it hurt a little bit that we lost. Like, we really came there to go for the win, of course. And I think we all realized, like, oh, damn, we really want to be better next time or next weekend. So I think we all working towards that with training, and the focus is really on Saturday and Sunday. So, yeah.
If Sydney, do you think if the result had gone the other way, your mindset might have been different, and maybe now everyone is looking at little details, little things they can improve that might otherwise they might not have looked at? Is there a positive to take from such a close loss, if you like?
Yeah, I think for sure. I think that's kind of what we've been reiterating for the day and a half after the match. And I think now we've kind of moved on from it, but we definitely wanted to take it in the most positive way that we could. And I think we've done in seasons past, build better best. And that's kind of what we want to do throughout these couple of matches and hopefully get into the final. But I think we definitely have had to be a bit more nitpicky, and whether it's I think it causes you to almost tighten up those little details for sure, having that kind of sting that we want to redeem ourselves. And so I think everyone has taken it in a really positive way, and that's all we can ask. And I'm pretty excited to see kind of what we do come this weekend.
I've been practicing my finish the last 2 days because I got really out-touched, and I've been making the same mistake a couple of times now. So I've been definitely working on that. And if I didn't get out-touched, I probably wouldn't have been that eager to work on that right now.
Yeah.
So we'll be watching those finishes closely at the weekend then. Okay, good. I mean, this kind of this situation, I mean, you've both got lots of NC2A experience. You must have found yourself in similar sort of situations in season where you have a shocking dual meet against someone and then have to pick yourselves up for the next one. Is there experiences you've learned from that you're sharing with people?
Yeah, I think so. I think NCAA is similar in a lot of ways, but different in a lot of ways. And I think it's funny because I think me and Kira have actually had really close matches together, and we've talked about them, which is just kind of funny to be in this side of it now. But I mean, dual meets are really, really hard. And I think that experience definitely played a part in my first couple of seasons. And I think being a captain the past 2 seasons and now, I've tried to almost give that perspective to some people in ways. I think that was one of the aspects that Rob always loved to talk to me about and kind of pick my brain about. And so I think it definitely gives us a little bit of an advantage, just having that. But now it's season 3 and there's not that many rookies anymore.
Indeed. And Sydney, on a personal level, were you happy with your swims? It was nice to get a win in early in the playoffs with the 200 IM.
Yeah, I mean, I think I needed to get back into racing a little bit. I think racing was a bit of a challenge for me in Naples, and now I'm kind of feeling a little bit better about it. And so it was nice to start off the meet with a win for sure. I think the times are not what I want at all. I think it was just rather slow, but there's so many places to improve, I think, in all of my races that I had, and if I have any more. But it's just super important to get up and race and do what you can for the team. So yes, I'm happy with one win, but I definitely don't want that to be my only one. And I want to progress through the matches and just score as many points as I can.
And the same question to you, really, Kira. I mean, you won the 50 back. You mentioned about being touched out in the 100 back, but you had a couple of relay wins as well. So how do you feel about your contribution?
Actually, I thought I was pretty happy with my races. I think my 100 back was the fastest so far in this ISL season. First time below 56 seconds. And I was especially happy with my relay swim in the medley relay on the first day, because I've always quite struggled with 3 events or 4 events even, and then the 100 back in that relay being the last one. Struggled to even go under 57 seconds, and now I went 55.8 in that relay. So I was really happy with that swim. I know I've been my 50 has been good lately, my 200 has been good lately, and now that 100 is just, I mean, it was a good swim, but my time is not where I want it to be yet. So I will keep working on that in the next couple of weeks.
And we saw you back in the 50 fly. I mean, I think you saw it once in Naples. Swimming again this weekend. Is it an event you swim much?
No. actually, as a junior swimmer, that was my best finish at European Juniors, the 50 fly. But no, I never really do it. And well, they asked me if I wanted to, and if they need me in a random event, of course, I will do it. And I actually thought it was a lot of fun. I just quite made a mistake on my breakout on the second 25. I was still too deep underwater. So I was a little upset at myself about that, but I gave all I had at the time, and I got 7th, I think. Oh well, I think I will be a little bit faster next time.
Well, yeah, no, 7th, you didn't get jackpotted, so 2 points. It all counts. Yeah. So the question is, we obviously know you as a backstroker. We've seen you as a very fast freestyler in relays and things. 50 fly now. So how long until we see you in the 50 breaststroke?
I don't think you want to ever see that, because it's gonna hurt your eyes. I've done 100 IM at this Christmas meet in December, and I went out in a 25.7 on the 50, which is fly back is pretty fast. And then I went 20 seconds on my 25 breaststroke. So you don't want to see my 50 breast. You really don't. Okay,
well, we know that Steve T likes to play with the tactics, but we won't expect him to do that one anytime soon. No. Talking about people pitching up in unexpected swims, Sydney, we saw Duncan Scott turn up in the 100 breaststroke in the medley relay. He seems to be able to do everything. Is that kind of the ideal teammate for the ISL? Someone who could just turn up and be really good at whatever he tries.
Yeah, I mean, Dunks, I think, impresses us all every time. Even I think one of the craziest swims of the meet was really his for free. And he just took it out as hard as he could. And he ended up 5th overall, yet scoring the most points. And I think that just kind of plays to what ISL really is. And he really can't do everything. And I know sometimes he might not always want to, but never shies away from the challenge that the coaches and the teammates rely on him to do those tougher events for sure. And so I think the 100 breasts on the relay is a little bit fun for him, but I don't think he needs to be adding any more events than he already does. So we'll kind of see where he sticks in for that. But, I think that's the cool part of ISL, and he would never really have that opportunity otherwise to kind of do it. So you just have to take the positives with it. But yeah, he's for sure a great teammate to have on ISL.
Hi, I'm Valerie van Roon from the Netherlands, and I've joined the war for 2021. My favorite event is the 53, the shorter the better. I'm excited to be part of London Roar because I think it's a great team and I'm honored to be an addition to it. I'm gonna do my best to take as many points for the team. The event at least likely see me swim in the ISL is 200 meter, 400 meter, like anything that's longer than 100 meter. My worst training set is, I think anything longer than 100 meter. Outside swimming, I'm studying physiotherapy and I'm really liking it. And I would love to make that my job. And I would love to just hang out with my friends if I can, besides studying and swimming. So that's it.
So you're straight back into it, Sydney, this weekend with your next match with LA again, because you have them in every match, Cali and Iron. Do you think the team will be sharper for having that first match out the way? You've talked about picking it up, the details and so on, but you'll be better for having that first match done?
Yeah, I think so. I think some of us have had a bit of a longer travel and kind of get more used to sleeping on the schedule, and being here for a week kind of get a little bit more in that comfort zone always helps. The first couple races off the blocks, I think most of us kind of get better the more races we have. And also just with that fire from having that loss after the first match, I think we're going to be a lot more on it. And I think we're going to be a force to be reckoned with this week.
And Kira, we saw that relays were a focus in that match just gone. You won 4 out of 5, I think. Certainly 4 on the first day. Is that going to be another focus for the team this weekend, do you think?
I think the tactics will be a little bit different against the teams you're racing, because you just have to do a little bit of math to see where you can score the most points against your competitors for that weekend or for that match. So that's really up to the coaches. I have no idea what they're planning on, or what they're planning on, for example, let me swim. So I don't really have an answer to that.
Well, we will see how that pans out. I mean, obviously, the backstroke seems very, very, tough in all of these matches. I mean, you had some very tough competitors last weekend. You've come up some more tough competitors this weekend. So you're just focusing on your own swims, I assume. Do you think about your competitors?
Well, last weekend, the 100 backstroke, that if you saw the field, that was actually an insane field with the 2 ex-world record holders in the long course 100 back, the world record holder short course, then the Canadian record holder short course, and then also the world record holder in the 50. That was all in one field. That's insane, I think. And I think a lot of teams are very competitive in the backstroke events. You don't see many jackpots in the backstroke events either. So I think they're very competitive. And if I think about them, I know beforehand who I'm racing against, and I try not to really think of it, to be honest. And usually that works out, and sometimes it doesn't.
I think that's the best. I think that's the best tactic. So swim your own lane and let the result take care of itself. Yeah. Sydney, you've beaten Callie already this season. Obviously, they're many people's favourites for the overall ISL, but you have beaten them once already. Does that give you confidence for this weekend?
I think it's definitely going to be a challenge, and we know that. And I think we are willing to take on the challenge. I think as long as we try and do it strategically the best we can, like the coaches have an idea and kind of run the numbers, and we're actually meeting kind of with our whole leadership team, with Kyle and I, and then the captains that are the match captains as well. And we're going to kind of have more feedback with the coaches and see what we think, and kind of put the best foot forward. But I think it's going to be hard for sure, but that's what's the beauty of it. And it's so fun, is these close matches. Is I think when it comes down to those last races is what's most exciting. And I think it's going to push us all to be better swimmers than we were the match before. And we're just going to grow as a team together. And I think we definitely have that one win, and it would be nice to have a win in the playoffs just to kind of secure that spot for the final. But we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, the jackpots are something that make it really interesting, I think, watching, because, LA beat you last weekend, and many people might think, well, they should beat you again next weekend. Obviously you can all swim faster, or they can have off days or whatever. But because of the way that the balance changes on the jackpots, obviously Callie will jackpot in some places that Toronto didn't, and vice versa. It's very hard to predict how it's going to pan out. So, it's interesting to hear that you look at it in that level of detail. I mean, does it go down to jackpots as well when you're doing those conversations?
Yeah, I think luckily we have the coaches that like to kind of run the numbers. And I think for us as swimmers, it's almost too much to really think into it like that. I think we just have to, there's so much we're already processing and working on as ourselves as swimmers. And kind of our stroke details and things like that we kind of have to take that step back. But then also in the leadership side, we try and give as much feedback and have that open dialogue with the coaches, but let them kind of run the numbers, and we'll have the conversations. And it's definitely a different side of swimming, which is pretty cool.
And, we've spoken about some of the things you want to improve this weekend, sharpening up finishes, whatever it might be. But, as the co-captain, what's your kind of message to the team ahead of this match?
Yes, Kyle and I are the co-captains overall, but we have match captains. So Ali and Guido were the last match. And then this match, I believe it is Emma and Vinny. So it's really cool. We get to see everyone's different leaderships sides and how they kind of would run things in ways and get that different perspective that I think just adds so much to our team.
So obviously, Katie is not with us on this podcast. She couldn't be here, so we've got no little game to play. But there is one question that everybody has asked me in the last few weeks, especially with events in Strictly Come Dancing, and that is: will we see Adam Peaty in Eindhoven? Now, what do you think?
I think that everybody is going to have to wait and find out to see if he's here. But, at the same time, I think it's pretty cool. Like last year in the season, we didn't obviously have all our Aussies with us, and they were still such a huge part of our team and supporting us. And so I think Adam has done the same. And I think we've all supported his dancing as well and have loved watching it. But whether or not he comes, I don't think that's something we can really share or say, but everyone's going to have to wait and see.
And I think we will leave it at that sort of teaser, if you like. So thank you very much for that. So we will wish you both all the good luck for the match coming up. We hope to get a good win, but good luck for the weekend, and thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, this is Guido, and you are listening to the London Roar podcast.
That's it for this episode of the London Roar podcast. As ever, if you want to get in touch, you can find me on Twitter at Pullbuoy or at Pullbuoy UK on Instagram and Facebook. If you want to send an email, go to pullbuoy.co.uk/contact. If you want to catch up on any of the previous episodes of the podcast, you'll find them at pullbuoy.co.uk/raw. But until next week, when hopefully we will have a great result from the Raw to talk about, we'll say thanks for listening.
You've been listening to the London Raw podcast by Pullbuoy. For more episodes, visit www.pullbuoy.co.uk/raw.